Hello student, welcome to this class of Learning BST. In our previous discussion, we have discussed about company forms of business organization, and we have discussed at length the various characteristics or features of a business organization relating to joint stock company. Today we shall further discuss about the various process that is entailed in formation of this joint stock company or a company. Indian Companies Act 1956, it does not provide a clear definition as to what a company is. It simply states that company is any institution or any company that is registered under either a previous or a present act. That is registered under a previous or a present act. That is the only definition. So any organization that is registered as a company under any of the previous act or current act is deemed to be a company. It does not entail or detailed out what are the various features, and therefore in our discussion we had discussed the various features of a company. Today we shall discuss about what are the necessary steps that is involved in bringing into existence a company forms of organization. How a company is formed, what are the necessary steps that has to be abided and followed. So beginning with, I have written here only two steps over here. There are 4 stages. We would first discuss the 2 stages, then in the next video we would be discussing the another 2 stages. So the first stage is in the formation of a company is termed as promotion. First. Now what is promotion? It is an act of promoter. If we say act of a promoter, then the question comes, who is a promoter? So promoter can be an individual, it can be a group of companies, or it can be an association of person who have conceived this idea that there exists a proposition that can be converted into a profitable business opportunities. So after conceiving this idea and inquiring about the details, if he feels or if there is some positive assertions that yes, there are likelihood of having a profitability, then the person would go ahead with organizing the resources, and then he starts the working of a company forms of organization. So therefore, as per my opinion, it is organizing finances, providing finances, resources and managerial ability. When do we do that? On conceiving a business opportunity. So when the promoter conceive that yes, in his mind he explore various types of business opportunities with an idea of making profit. So if his idea gives an assertion that yes, there exists an opportunity, surely profit can be made out of it, then he just tries to assemble all these resources, managerial abilities, finance the proposition, and then starts the business. So this is what a promoter do. In briefly, we can conclude that these promoters, they are the person who are actually responsible for bringing the company into existence. It is the effort of these people that the company comes into existence. So what they do first, it starts with them, with the promoters having or conceiving a business idea. They foresee an opportunity exists which can be converted into a profitable business. So when this proposition of a business idea is converted and it is transformed into a business which results or yield into profit, that is our promotion. So all the steps that is taken in the process of converting a business idea into a profitable business is known as promotion. Now, how this, before a business is promoted or comes into existence, there are various stages of promotion. There are a number of steps before a company is born, before an organization is born, and before a business is born. The first stage, the first steps of promotion is, therefore, I have given it the number of stages. So first stages is discovery of business idea. It starts, promotion of a company starts with discovery of a business idea. And this business idea exists in the mind of this promoters. They have that, yes, a particular type of business activities can be organized. They sense that there exists an opportunity in the market or in their surroundings that can be converted into a business. And having sensed this, they start working towards making it a reality. So this is first, therefore, the formation of a company or promotion of a company. Formation include many other steps. So we would confine over to promotion. So promotion of a company starts with conceiving an idea or a business idea by the promoters. This is the first step. Then the second steps come, or second stages in the formation of a business organization or this promotion is, there is a preliminary investigation and inquiry about the viability and profitability. Why a preliminary investigation has to be undertaken? The promoter, when they sense that yes, a business opportunity exists, there are chances that if it is converted into a business, it will yield into profit. It will result and into profit. Now, their idea which exists to them, does it has any possibility or viability of future prospect and growth? Does it guarantees, or is it merely their idea? They only have conceived. Nobody else have conceived that such opportunity exists. So is it only their intuition? Is it only their feeling? Is it only their perception? So what they do, they take out a preliminary investigations. Now preliminary investigation about that, yes, what is the viability? What is the practicability, possibility? How far such business idea can be converted into a reality? What are the future prospect? And in the process of this preliminary investigation, they make a rough estimate of the probable revenue that would be generated out of the business activities and the various expenses, cost that is entailed in the business, the amount of capital required, what are the sources from where this capital would be acquired or procured, the numbers of employees that would be required, what would be the skill or the level of knowledge and skill of the workers. So all this has to be inquired, that yes, if such is the business, what is the type of the employees that is required, how much capital is to be invested, what are the activities that is included, and what would be the possible revenues that is generated in such a business, and what is the expenses that is to be incurred. So all this, a rough estimate has to be taken. They also consider about, if they have a product, how the product would be marketed, what would be the method. They may also decide that if they are planning about some industrial activity or some industries, will it be possible? What type of industries they would be establishing? So there is a preliminary investigation that what would be the nature of the activities, how much cost will be involved, what would be the flow of revenue, what type of employees are required, what would be the nature and skill of the label and the level of the workers. So all these are to be decided. Now why it has to be decided? When during the course of this preliminary investigation, the promoter, they discuss their feeling, their ideas along with some other person who are well known with the business opportunities and ideas, who have a well experience about this business ideas. And then while discussing their proposition with the other people, they aim at deciding the worth of the project. When they decide, or the discussion is about, is the project is worth all the trouble, all the hard work to be taken, or whether means all the hard work that is to be taken, whether it will be paid off, whether it will be profitable or not. So all these preliminary investigations has to be taken, and once if the promoters get a positive nod, or if the discussion yields into a positive result outcome, then he moves further. And the next step is, from a preliminary investigation, he has to take out a detailed investigation. So earlier it was merely a proposition that yes, whether it could be possible or not, he wanted to know about the business. And after it is clear that yes, there exists a proposition, it has to take a detailed investigation. And in a detailed investigation, he collects various types of rough estimates, various types of information relating to such businesses. So this detailed investigations, it includes making calculations and extrapolations about the various business propositions, various business results. The guesswork will not work. So they try to come out a detailed project as to what are the requirements if the such business has to be organized, what are the actual requirements of the business, and what are the possibilities of them meeting out. If we have concluded that yes, there is a business idea, it can be taken, then a detailed investigation has to be taken up on the basis of various investigation reports that we collect from various sources, and we discuss with experts. Then experts suggest that what are the real activities that is entailed, what are the various work that is to be concluded. So it is just like preparing a project report. A detailed project report has to be done, which enumerates the number of steps, the number of activities to be taken out. So that is a detailed investigation about the feasibility. This tells us whether this business is practically possible. जो बिजनेस का आइडिया है, क्या ये वास्तव में संभव है? जो हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया, हम लोगों ने लगा कि हाँ हमारे पास संभव है। अब उस बिजनेस के लिए हमारे पास रिसोर्सेस कहां से आएंगे? Where from the resources is to be procured? What is the chances of this possibility of this project? What the various requirement, how they can be met out? Capital, the various location, the capacity, plant capacity, all has to be decided. So that is a detailed investigation about feasibility. Then next come, after detailed investigation, assembling the various factors of production. Once the promoter is convinced of the profitability and prospect of the business, after a discussion, after a detailed analysis, he has taken, yes, this is the first step, he has to take. These are the places from where resources can be hired. Once he has decided it, after ascertaining that yes, there is a profitable opportunity. So the next is that this promoter, he begins his work of assembling the different factors of production. That is, financing the proposition can be last. But before that, he has to assemble the various resources. A place has to be there from where business activities would be carried out. Then he has to appoint adequate number of competent personals who would be dealing with the business activities. Purchase of machineries and equipment or various tools that is required for the work of the business. He may have to enter various types of contract that has to be done with the bank, with the promoters and all. And once he get those work done, he has set the motion into action, or he has set the business plan into action. And finally, it is financing the proposition. Once he has taken all the estimate of the resources to be hired, he make estimate what would be the amount of capital that is required to be invested in the fixed assets as well as in the working capital for meeting out day-to-day activities. Generally, the amount which is invested in the fixed assets, they cannot be taken out, or rather fixed asset cannot be sold off to meet the day-to-day expenses. So therefore, the promoters, they prepare a financial plan and then they estimate what is the maximum amount which is to be invested as a fixed capital, that is in the fixed assets, which basically lays the foundation of the business organization, the infrastructure of the business organization. And once the infrastructure is set out, the business activities start working. So on daily basis, the expenses, the amount which is to be incurred everyday activities, they has to be estimated, and that refers to working capital requirement. What is the quantum of working capital requirement? And taken together, the total finances, the total capitalization has to be estimated, and then they have to determine in terms of the cost and benefit the various sources of the fund from where they would be having, or they would be procuring the funds to finance the proposition, the business idea. It is not very easy for a new business because the credibility of the project has to be assured, has to be established to a number of people, to a number of investors. So it takes a very hard work for a promoter to establish the credibility of the proposition. And once it is established, it becomes very easy to procure the funds from different sources. And then fund is procured and the business idea is set into motion. The necessary steps are taken, then the company comes, takes a birth. Here the company takes a birth. Now that is the promotion. It has been brought into existence. But yes, his identity is not known to the world as a child take a birth. Earlier he is merely a child, he has no name. His identity is not known to the world. So the next step is concerned with making the identity of this company or this organization known to the world. And that is giving the company an entity, a separate legal entity. And that can be provided only through incorporation. That is the second steps of formation of a company. So the second step of formation of a company is incorporation of a company. Now incorporation is basically registration of the company. But before a company is being registered, or law accord them a personality, various requirements, some preliminary activities as well as other activities has to be carried out before a certificate is issued by a competent authority according a personality to the company. And without giving a due legal recognition, he cannot enter into a contract with other. It cannot carry out a business activities. Therefore, a due recognition as a personality has to be accorded. And so, the next step is to incorporate the company, to get the company registered. The first activity in the promotion or incorporation of a company is preliminary activities. These are the preliminary activities that has to be undertaken before a company is incorporated. This preliminary activities starts with approval of the name. That the company must have a name with which it must be known. I have said that he, as a child take birth, his identity is not known. So it is letting the world know that yes, this is a person and this is his name. He has an existence. So it is familiarizing the world or the surroundings with the name of the company. Company must have a name. And what type of name it should be. So first of all, therefore, preliminary activities involve approval of a name. A company must have a name for registration with which it would start its business operation. And it is very necessary to obtain approval from the competent authority for a name. The promoter, they has to check that the name which they have decided, whether it is open or not, whether it can be granted or not to the company, they have to check from the concerned authority. So before a name is approved, it is seen that this name with which the company has to be registered, whether it is to be accorded or has it been given to somebody else, or there exists a personality with the name. There cannot be a two personality with the same name. So this is to check that whether such name can be given to the company or not, whether it is acceptable or not. Generally, there is a custom of 3 names to be suggested. So when we apply first, or when we seek approval of the register, or when the promoter seek the approval of the register, they prefer 3 names, and any of the name can be approved by the registrar of the companies. But yes, there are certain limitations that the name which the company is going to adopt, that name must not resemble any existing company, or law must not prohibit such name, use of such name. Identity which resembles or which violate any of the national integration, we can say buildings, or national importance, such names cannot be preferred. So the first activities is approval of a name of the company. Then second one is registered office place. Registered office is the place from where the business will carry its activities. The promoter must decide that this would be the headquarter from where the business activities would be controlled, it would be managed. So what is the place where it is situated, where all the necessary managers or the officials of the company would be sitting? They would be managing the affairs, they would be looking after the business. So a registered office has to be given. It is also important because in case of any communication that has to be made with the company, the registered office place or registered office address helps in the communication with the company. So therefore, a company must have a registered office, a place from where the business is to be conducted. Then the third one is obtaining necessary license, if any. Generally, what happens that the promoters, they conceive a business idea. This idea may be of any general business. But if it is about any industries for which, or any such business for which it is mandatory to obtain the license under any of the Industries Control and Regulation Act of 1951, then such license must be obtained before you begin to organize the business activities. The first thing is that the promoters must try that they would be able to secure a license from the competent authority, that is the Registrar of Industrial Licensing Control and Regulation Act, the head who manages all these activities. Then the next is appointment of bankers, underwriters, signatories, auditor. Various persons who would be holding different posts related with different works of the company, they have to be appointed. The promoter enters into a contract, an agreement with all this preliminary person. A bank has to be appointed who would be collecting the capital, who would be holding the capital on behalf of the company. There would be underwriters who would be giving guarantee about selling the securities of the company. They would be giving guarantee that if the company is not able to secure or procure adequate amount of capital, the securities would be purchased by these underwriters. They give them a guarantee of providing a fund in case they do not get it. Then the next is auditors. The auditors has to be appointed. They are known as preliminary auditors. So these preliminary auditor who would be auditing the books of account, because at the end of the year, when the financial results of the business has to be disclosed, they must be audited prior to that. And finally, the signatories, that is the official or the authorities who have given their consent to act on the different posts of the company. They have to put their signatures on the various documents of the company. So who are the signatories? Who are the official? Who would be signing various documents on behalf of the company? So they are the signatories. So signatories are the person whose signature has to be affixed, or who would be putting signature on behalf of the company on various legal documents. Then we have application to the registrar, and once these activities are done, then we prefer an application to the registrar for incorporation along with these necessary documents and a necessary fee. these necessary document and necessary fee. So we have to file the application along with this document. The first document is Memorandum of Association. Now, Memorandum of Association, it is the charter of the company. I think charter like the King Victoria Proclamation, which has become a charter. So it is the charter, the absolute rule beyond which you cannot go. Means it defines, this charter defines the act, the spheres of activities of the company. What is the power? What is the area? What is the sphere? What is the extent of business operation? That is been defined by this Memorandum of Association. And this Memorandum of Association is therefore said to be the charter of the company. Any act which is beyond the power that is conferred by this document is said to be ultra vires, that is beyond authority. It is beyond the authority of the company. A company should not have done that. It did not have the authority to do that work or go beyond its authority. So it is ultra vires. And these document, it contains various clauses which explains what would be the capital of the company, what would be the registered place of the company, what would be the liability of the company. There are several other clauses. How these clauses can be altered or changed. What would be the maximum capital of the company. So all these clauses are there detailing about the maximum amount of capital, the place of business, the number of person or directors, what would be the various liabilities of the members. So all these are explained in the Memorandum of Association. And any act which is beyond this memorandum is said to be or termed as ultra vires. Second is Article of Association. Now these articles are the internal rules for managing the internal affairs of the business of the company. A business follows certain rules to be observed while it is executing the various activities. The necessary formalities or the requirement for internal management of the company, they have to make. And if the company has not preferred an article or if it has not drafted, it will follow Table A of Companies Act. And in case of any internal disputes, this table or this article helps in resolving the internal dispute of the management. So these articles, they regulate how the activities of the business has to be run. And this document, remember, this article must be signed by the signatories, as I have said. Then the third one is list of directors. There should be 2 full-time directors in a company, as the company law provide. So who are the person who have acted or who have given their consent to act as a director? They has to be decided. So along with the name of the directors, their consent have to be given. Consent of director. And the director, before they give a consent that yes, they have consented to act as a director, there is a qualification share that has to be taken. Now qualification share refers to a sort of legal compliances. Before a person consent to act as a director, he has to become a member of a company. This ensures that he will not act against his own interest. Once he become a member, he will not act against his own interest. as a director. So he has to take a qualification share, that is becoming a member. And finally, there is a preliminary agreement between the various parties relating to statutory declaration. There is association clause. A statutory declaration has to be also filed that all the necessary requirement of the formation has been complied. And then with all this, the promoters, they have to pay or submit the prescribed fee along with these necessary document with the registrar, and then they seek the permission. And if satisfied that all the compliance, all the necessary formalities have been complied, the registrar issues a certificate of incorporation. Now this incorporation gives a legal personality, or it accords a legal personality to the company. The company becomes a legal personality, and thus the company comes into existence. The company has not started the business, it has simply bought. It has been accorded a legal personality. Now it is capable of commencing a business or doing activities. So this is all about promotion and incorporation. The next, capital subscription and commencement of business, we shall discuss in the next video lecture. Till then, happy learning. Have a look at it.